All right, first of all, obviously disappointed the way the game ended on Saturday. Something obviously that we didn't anticipate, nor did we want. And give Miami credit; they finished it off and won the game. I said this to the guys. I mean, we got to learn from it. We got to move on. We got to move forward. To this week and Big 12 play. But first of all, I want to mention how awesome atmosphere was Saturday. Our fans are incredible. You know, certainly not an empty seat in the whole stadium, and they were into it. And what a great college football scene. And we anticipate that again this week with Oklahoma coming to town and our first Big 12 game. And I'm very excited about that. Very excited about playing in this league. I hadn't been here obviously, but I think about all the people and the hard work that went into getting to the Power Five, getting to the Big 12 conference. Past coaches and administrators, presidents. I mean, just the hard work that went into that, and so it's awesome. It's really neat to be playing at this level and playing in this new league. Albeit they're putting us with one of the better teams in this league. The first game in the Big 12 with Oklahoma, and they're as hot as a team out there right now. So we know we got a huge challenge coming in here, but one that we welcome for sure. I think. You think about our team right now. After you kind of assess where we're at after 3 games in our non-conference schedule. Offensively, I've been pleased with our offense. I think we've been able to move the football on all 3 opponents. We ran the ball well. We've thrown it. We've done both. I think we're sitting here 12th in the country in total offense, 8th in the country in rushing. Had a 100-yard rusher in every game. Had 2 this past week. All those things were very, very good. Obviously this past weekend, tight red inside the 5 was a huge issue for us, that we got to get fixed and corrected as we move forward. And then I think defensively, I think we've been solid. I think, really and truly it's been the big play, big plays on the outside really has been the difference defensively, I think, at the corner play. With the DPIs, and then obviously some of the deep balls that we've given up. I think overall defensively we've played very, very solid. Other than that, and those things that we have to get better at. As we look forward, I think in the kicking game we've been very solid. Obviously the blocked field goal there wasn't. It was. We had a little bit of a short edge on that side, and I think that was the difference, and that's all it takes. It was about 2 inches there for his fingertips to get on the ball. He had a great jump off of that, but if we're appropriate in our splits, then he doesn't get there. And obviously that was a huge play because, we had the fake punt, and you get that, and and you go down and you melt the clock down. Everything's working like you want it, and to kick the field goal and win the game, and we're all sitting here a little bit different. But it didn't happen, and we have to learn from that and get better. As we look at Oklahoma. Great offense, averaging 55 points a game right now. Dylan Gabriel, which you guys are familiar with. We played him when I was at Louisville as well. He's a really good quarterback, left-handed, throws a great deep ball. They really stress you defensively, horizontally and vertically. Keep the pressure on the defense, and they go extremely fast. There's zero hesitation in them snapping the football. You have to get lined up quickly. You have to be ready to go. What formations they're going to show you. They're very good at what they do, and certainly a huge challenge for our defense. And then I think on their other side, defensively, Coach Venables is an outstanding defensive coach. We faced him at Clemson many times, and he did an unbelievable job there, and such a good job. He gets the head job at Oklahoma, and I think this year their defense is playing very, very well, and they've held these opponents they've played. What are they giving up? Single digits throughout these first 3 games right here. They like the pressure, but they play a lot of different coverages in the back end. They run well. They have good size. So, obviously a very good team. We're looking forward to playing this Big 12 game and playing Oklahoma here and at 12 o'clock. We got, Fox is going to be here. It's just a big-time atmosphere, big-time game. So we're looking forward to this week.
Coach, it's the 2nd week in a row we've seen teams slow jog guys off the field when you substitute.
Yeah.
Do you look at that? Do you try to figure maybe less substitutions? You're probably not going to tell me your strategy going forward,
yeah.
But is that something that's changed that you have to address?
Well, I just think it's something you have to be aware of. Certainly teams, ironically, that was one of the things that was brought up by the head of the Big 12 officiating this past spring in our meetings, as well as we brought him over to higher ground. He talked to our staff. That was certainly brought up because there's gamemanship that's being played within that, and if it's allowed to happen, then coaches are gonna do it, and so what they told us was that they have to do it in a jog. They have to do it in a and not crawl, and so but the other night they're going so slow, and then all of a sudden they'll send another guy, and next thing you know the clock's running down, and so I talked to the official in the game, and said, yeah, we're on it. The thing that has to be done there is they have to go ahead and wind the clock, and we're ready for play. If they're not off the field yet, that's on them, and that's what they told us. That's how they're going to do it in the Big 12, and so we'll see. As obviously starting to play in the Big 12 now, we'll see how it goes as we move forward, but you're certainly going to be able to substitute your guys for sure at a timely manner. And so, we'll see how it goes as we move forward.
You played Gabriel. He's played UC twice. Just the problems he presents, and then is it just a little strange playing a lefty?
I don't think necessarily playing a lefty. I mean, I think it is what it is as far as that goes. I think more importantly, when you're playing a good quarterback, which he is. I mean, I think he's very accurate. I think he understands what they're trying to do within their offense. And if he has guys open, he's going to hit them. I think he's not going to miss very many throws at all. And I think that's the thing that makes him very good. He's not he's not a tall quarterback, but they do enough things to hinder the rush, and so he's got a little bit more time back there, and they're going really fast, so guys can't dig their cleats in the ground to be able to rush the passer, as effectively as you could if you have more time, and he knows what he's looking at. I think he's obviously they've coached well what they do offensively. He knows the keys he's looking at. He knows where to go with the football. So, for all those reasons, I mean he's completing 82.5% of his passes. This in 3 games is incredible. And they're playing as good as you can possibly play on offense. I don't know how you can play any better with 55 points a game and 82% completion percentage, and so they're doing a lot of things right.
Running back position, we've seen Ryan Montgomery and Corey Kiner both go over 100 yards. Xavier's been really consistent game 1 and game 3. How do you manage that depth at both positions with having so many guys that can make plays for you?
I think, again, I talked about this last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. We have an unselfish group there, particularly at both of those positions, wide receivers and the running back room. I mean, they're really good kids. I mean, they play hard. When they get their opportunity, they're trying to make the most of it. And we told them, Xavier had 1 catch at Pitt, and then last week had a bunch of catches. I mean, so it just, Braden had not as many this week, but he had some more in Pitt. So I think it's whatever the defense is trying to take away or give us, we want to try to take. And our guys know that. And I think, in terms of the running back room, Ryan, we just felt he was seeing things, and he's running hard. He's breaking tackles. I mean, we're going to keep playing him. And the same thing for Corey in the other 2 games, and Corey got, I think, 15 carries this game too. So, I think when you get your opportunity and you're out and chance to go out there and make plays, then do it. And if you're making plays, then you're going to be able to make more. I mean, and we've told them that since day one, and I think they know that, they recognize that, and so I think they're going really hard when they get an opportunity to play.
This is obviously the first time you guys have went through some adversity as a player and coaching staff relationship. How have you seen your guys respond, or what have you learned about this group in the 2 days you've had since Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I know they were hurt in the locker room, and they were, obviously, and then Sunday when we came over, I mean, the whole coaching staff. I mean, there's nothing worse than losing. I mean, period. I mean, we get 12 opportunities to go out there and show what we got, and so everything we're doing the other days throughout the year is all focused in on these 12 days and not 12 opportunities, and so I mean, it hurts you to your soul, to your core, but you have to overcome it. You have to continue to move forward, and that's what we did Sunday. I thought a great spirit out there Sunday at practice. Guys were going hard. We're not out there long on Sunday, about 35 minutes, but man, they were all into it, and they want to continue to get better. We're still early in the season. There's a lot of ball left to be played, and we know we got a great opponent coming in this week, but we got to focus on ourselves and how much better can we continue to get each and every week with the proper attitude. And I thought our guys came back Sunday, man, they were great. They were like, what can we do to get better? Like how what's great attitudes, and that's what you want.
On the field goal block, now that you can't call back-to-back timeouts, is there anything that you can do in that situation if you see something like that where a guy is outside the split or whatever?
Well, I mean, really not. The only thing you could do is take a delay, but now you're going to back them up 5 more yards, which you don't really want to do in that scenario. But that brings up a good point, so if you just did call the timeout, so therefore I think maybe coaches in the future could potentially maybe hold the timeout and say, listen, let's just go out there and kick. In that particular scenario, we're trying to melt as much clock as possible to get it down to 1 second, so they don't have as much time to go back out and try to tie the game back up. So, I think at the end of the day, we have to execute. We have to line up the way we're supposed to line up, and we have to make the snap, the hold, and the kick. You just have to execute on what your assignments are. I don't think I would change anything as far as anything goes on the last segment, the last drive. We just got to execute the operation.
Oklahoma in the deep ball, are they the fastest team so far?
Yeah, I would think so. They they're always looking to push the ball down the field, but they also, what makes them so good with pushing the ball down the field is the horizontal passing game. The screens, the quick outs, the bubbles, those type things that are happening toward the sideline. Because what ends up happening is you throw the ball out to the sideline. Well, your whole we're telling our guys chase the ball. The whole defense runs to the guy over here. Well, then the ball's getting spotted. They're snapping it again. So if you just ran all the way to the sideline, you got to get lined back up, and they may be trying to push the ball 40 yards down the field. You got to turn and run again. So, therefore, that's what makes them so good, because of the tempo and the speed that they go at.
Knowing the tempo that Oklahoma wants to play with, what do you guys need to do in the secondary? You mentioned in the presser on Saturday how teams are testing you down the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do some things. I mean, number one, I think as individuals, we got to continue to work on our techniques of how we're trying to defend. And you have to mix that up with your technique, meaning, I can't just walk up and press every time. I mean, I have to play a bail technique where I'm playing off a little bit, because if you're up, up, and now it's a lot easier for that guy just to run right by you. So we got to switch up our techniques, some things individually, but we also have to help them out and what we're calling defensively, having safeties overlap, having them over the top, and some things like that, and continue to mix those things up, and not playing the same thing. And I think at practice we got to be able to do different things technique-wise with our corners and our safeties that hopefully will continue to help them, because those are big plays that have hurt us. If you think about the Pitt game, they had a couple touchdowns on the vertical passing game. Obviously, this past week, they hit the first play. They had, we had a great punt on a -10, and they throw a fade down our sideline. And we get a defensive pass interference call. They call the same play and catch the fade on us. A couple plays later in that drive, DPI on this side, and then they throw a fade for a touchdown. So, I mean, that was one drive. So we got to be able to mix things up, as coaches, to be able to help those guys out as well.
We talk about the secondary. Obviously, Sammy Anderson was unable to go the last 2 weeks. Do you just have any update on him heading into Oklahoma this weekend?
Yeah, again, we're still pretty much the same as we've been. We're allowing our medical team to do all the tests and things that they have to do. And as soon as we get an update, we'll let you know.
This is obviously a really big moment, Scott. The fan base has been pointing to this, the Big 12, it's Oklahoma, all that stuff goes into it. Coming off the way your team performed last week, how do you think your guys will respond in a moment this big?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think our guys will go out and play, really physical, fast football. That's what we have to do. Just about our preparation this whole week. Whatever happened this past weekend, that does not change the fact that we're opening Big 12 play and we're starting with Oklahoma. So we know what kind of quality team they are and what they're coming in here, and our guys are going out to play the very best game they can to go try to get a win. I mean, that's what we'll do this week. I think it just so happens to be one of the better teams in the Big 12. But yeah, it's a huge moment. It's going to be awesome for our fans, for our student athletes, for all of us. To be able to be the first game in the Big 12, right here at Nippert. I mean, that's a tremendous honor and a privilege for our guys. So, I mean, they'll have great preparation this week, and we'll go out and play a great game.
You had 17 snaps from the 10-yard line and only managed to get 1 touchdown. When you went back and looked at the tape, did you feel it was execution, schematic? Is there any one thing you could pick out, or was it a culmination of a bunch of stuff?
You counted 17. Wow. Okay. Thorough. Chad. I think it was a culmination of a lot of things. I think number one, I want to give credit to what they did in that particularly tight red. I mean, I thought we moved the ball once we got inside the 20, but I think it was more once we got down inside the 5. They had a great plan for for our quarterback run game. And when you get down into tight red, somebody is going to have to beat somebody else, right? Because they got everybody's there. It's basically one-on-one. And there were several times where running backs and quarterbacks had one-on-one with their guy, and they got us down. At some point we got to try to win those and get into the end zone. I also think we could have, as coaches, could have done a better job in doing some different formations, some different things down there inside the 5 to help our guys out, to create a little bit more space for our guys to be able to get in the end zone. And then we just got to block better. I mean, I just think it was a culmination of a lot of different things. And obviously, if things don't work, you go back. We shouldn't have done that. We should have done this, right? It's really easy to do. But there certainly were things that as coaches we could have done a lot better, and put our kids in better position to make plays.
Charlie, then Scott.
As other teams look at UC for the first time in conference play, surely they'll see a quarterback who thinks he can be one of the best in conference right away. Knowing that you have a signal caller with that level of confidence, how can that really push this team higher than folks expect, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mentioned this maybe the first week. I don't care what level it is, rec league, high school, college, pro, you got to have a trigger man. If you got a quarterback and it gives you a chance, to make plays. And so, Emory, I thought he played really well. He had 91 snaps the other night, and he'd like to have 4 or 5 of those back, obviously. But but I think he's playing. He gives you a chance, And now everybody else surrounding him's got to play good. Up front we got to play good. Obviously we got to be able to run the football. That'll help the quarterback play. And then those guys out wide have to be able to make plays once they catch the football. And then in order to win football games, you have to be very good on defense. And particularly in this league, there's a lot of teams that can score points. So you got to be very good on defense. But what it does, it gives the team confidence to know we got a guy that we feel really good about, that can go win us some games here at the quarterback position. I like Emory, man. He's humble. He's poised. Again, he doesn't get rattled. He's easy to talk to. I love having a quarterback when they come off the field. Hey, what'd you see? And he's easy to talk to. He's like, I saw this, and which is great. Because now you get good conversation to where we can get to stuff that will work. Next time we go back out. So he's just got to continue to play at this level.
It's probably a feeling among the fans that it's Oklahoma, but Emory played against Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. Xavier played in that same game. At what point does everyone or does the team just say, well, this is the norm, this is the Big 12?
Yeah. I think we're there. I think I look at the Pitt game. You go into a hostile environment, you're playing Pitt, and a team that's got a lot of pride and plays very hard. And our guys didn't bat an eye. They go out there and they play their butts off. So you don't look at that. To me, you don't look at the jersey and say, it's a team like Oklahoma, with tons of history and all this and that. Yeah, we respect them, but we still want to go out and win, and we still want to go out and play our best football. And that's how you approach it. You approach it with your training. How good can we prepare this week to go out and play great, and then you go out on the field. Then we expect our guys to make plays. We expect them to do the things that they've been showing they've done in practice. So, we got to go out there and play our best ball and hope we can go out and get a win.
Keegan and Chad.
Juwan told us after the game that he takes 24 hours, lets the loss process, and then kind of moves on. How have you in your career, what's the best way to kind of move on from a loss? Are you doing the same thing? Are you just burying the tape kind of thing and moving on?
No, I have the same routine. What we do, when we come in on Sundays, Mondays too. The routine stays the same, win or loss. It stays the same the whole time. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Now you don't feel as good, and it hurts, but. The sun came up Sunday morning. I got to go. I got to get ready to go to work, and we got to, figure out what we didn't do is good in this game, and then we got to get a great plan as we move forward, whoever our opponent's going to be. So, it's that same way. You don't change anything. You can't panic. When things like when adversity strikes, you continue to do your same routine. It's a process that you do and you go through, and you stick to it. That's how you get through the bad times.
It looked like to the untrained eye the middle of the line had been really good in the first 2 games. Miami seemed to give them some issues in there. Was it anything specific that they did that you could tell on tape, or maybe just an off day a little bit for those guys?
No, I mean I think what they do coming in, Miami's more they're heavy techniques, meaning they're head up to on your line, and they're really trying to penetrate and blow those guys up so where they can't get up to the linebackers. I think it's just their scheme of how they do it, which maybe looked a little different compared to the other 2 teams that we played. I still think we were very effective moving the football. We ran for 200 and some yards and threw for over 250. So, again, it was the whole field until we got inside the 5. That was the issue. So, I still think if you go back and watch our film with our offensive line, they played hard. I mean, they're pinning guys. They're doing some really good things up front. And I was proud of those guys. I mean, those 5 guys played the whole game. It was a lot of snaps, 91 snaps, and the most time on the field for our offense that we've had all year, really all camp too. I mean, that's the most exertion that they put out throughout the whole time we've been here.
Against Miami, it kind of seemed like the defensive line was pressing up the field too much and losing contain. What do you guys need to do in this game, knowing that Dylan Gabriel can run as well?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the case moving forward. Anybody we're playing with the quarterback that can move a little bit. But, yeah, it's a fine line there, right, because you want to get penetration. You want to get to the quarterback, but we can't get past the quarterback. And I think that's what was happening in the game the other night. We're running our stunts up front, and we're getting to the quarterback, but then we're moving past him. And obviously he's stepping up, and then now you got some clear lanes. Once you get to the level of quarterback, you got to converge in. And that's one thing that we'll certainly work on again this week. To be able to have guys, converge on the quarterback and not run past the quarterback. There's a big difference there, with our defensive line. And a couple of times we get stacked on each other, meaning, and not in your lanes you're supposed to be in. We got 2 in the same lane. When you're doing that, obviously there's more gaps open free for the quarterback. So we got to do a much better job with that, and we'll continue to work on that.
As a former quarterback and offensive-minded coach, how much sleep have you lost looking at those numbers? Almost 600 yards offense, and the way statistically that you controlled the game but didn't control the score.
It's very frustrating and really, really weird if you look at that. I mean, so many first downs, so many yards, so many good things that we did, but except for the points, and that's really the one thing that matters is the points. And that many times in the red zone. I mean, it's really. It hadn't happened to me really over my career too many times. I mean, it's happened a few, but not too many. And because you feel like you can get inside the red zone 8 times, you're going to score at least 4 touchdowns, and that'd be an average day. And we just, 2 is just not getting it done. We got to be a lot better there. There's no other way to look at it.
First loss with 30 first downs.
I don't know. I've never looked at that, but maybe that's a lot of first downs, and only 24 points. All right, thanks, guys.
How y'all doing today? Y'all good?
Two forced fumbles in the last 2 weeks. Is that something that's been a focus of this staff, or has it just been a chance where you've had the ability to, see the ball in a good spot and punch it out?
Yeah, we kind of harp on that in practice. We try to get a few interceptions and forced fumbles in the scout period. So I try to do what I do and change the game in any way I can to help the team, and that's how it worked out.
You've been here long enough to have seen Dylan Gabriel a couple times with another team. What are you telling the guys about him?
Oh, he's a great quarterback. He has a strong arm if you've seen him throw. He's very smart. He loves to go through his progression, and he will use his feet. So, yeah, we definitely can't sleep on him. And he's a pro. He thinks like a pro, so we have to be prepared.
Coach said that the team and the coaching staff was hurt to their soul, to their core after last week's loss. How do you, as one of the leaders of this team, make sure that loss stays there and doesn't impact this game this weekend?
I think we just got to keep on reminding them that last week is in the past, and we just got to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, one practice at a time, one play at a time. You know what I'm saying? Just baby steps and get 1% better every day. So it's a part of the process.
Oklahoma has 3 receivers that come into this game that went over 100 yards last week. What kind of challenges does that present you guys on the back end?
It's a big challenge. You know, they got some good guys, like you said. It's gonna be. We look forward to the challenge. I'll say that. So we have to be right on our end as far as communication and execution, and trusting everybody to do their job. So.
Does it feel like there's extra energy maybe around the team and the program with the Big 12 play coming up here finally?
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, so we're excited for it. Can't wait.
Offense play this fast?
The last time I seen the offense play this fast was when I played Dylan at UCF, and it was very fast. And that tempo can try to mess with your mind a little bit when it gets tiring, but we're gonna have to work on that in practice and come ready for the game.
Coach Satterfield said that first play for Miami on Saturday was due to miscommunication. What did you see in the secondary there that kind of led to that big play for Miami?
Like he said, it was just miscommunication. We gotta all be on the same page and make sure we're all getting the same call and doing our assignments. So it was just on our part.
You've been a guy that's been very versatile there in the back end. Obviously, what's been your message to guys like Justin Harris, who is stepping in for Sammy Anderson over the weekend? What are you able to give to him in that leadership role?
Really just let him know that he was made for this moment and fearlessly be himself, and he's good enough. And he knows that he's very confident in his ability, so he can handle himself.
You mentioned the UCF game the last time you saw Dylan Gabriel. One of the things the defense did in that game was rotate DBs constantly to keep you guys fresh. How important is depth in this game, knowing that tempo?
Oh, it's very important. Like you said, they go very fast, and when they do that, they try to get you tired so you can't think straight. So we're definitely going to have a rotation going on in this game. It's very important.
How important, Coach Sat talked about the horizontal and the vertical game, basically trying to, lull your eyes to sleep a little bit, short, and then go over the top. How important is eye discipline and all of that to not get fooled, but also still be effective and not let them, turn a 2-yard screen pass into a 30-yard gain?
It's very important. They're going to try to get us off our pivot by lulling us to sleep, like you said, and we just need to stay locked in one play at a time. If we take it one play at a time and stay disciplined with our eyes and our technique and know what we have to do, then we should be good.
Are you noticing opposing offenses trying to attack you guys quick because of your defensive line? Are teams trying to play quick game on you, just to keep the rush at bay?
As far as the back end?
Well, are they passing? Are they getting it out quicker to end of the back end because they're worried about the pass rush?
Oh, yes, especially when we send that pressure. Coach Brown likes to send the pressure, so that is one thing that they do.
Other questions for Tom? Cool. Thanks, Todd.
So, guys.
Rewarding was it? You put in all this work and getting back to 100% to be able to go out and have a day like that and really be a lift to the team offensively?
Yeah, it was awesome individually, but at the end of the day, we lost. So trying to take that lump for what it is, but it was good to be out there. We got a lot of good running backs in that room, and we prepare every week just like we're going to go out there and have a performance like that. And, Coach is going to roll with the hot hand, and that's what ended up being this week. So, yeah.
You got dinged up at the end of toward the end of camp there, but then made it back. How much of a struggle was that, and how's it feel to be back and that successful in your first extended time?
Yeah. So my whole career I've been battling injuries. That's no secret. So, I kind of knew from a headspace how to deal with that. And, like I said, just preparing every week, trusting in myself, being confident and knowing that I'd prepared and put the time in before and getting back to feeling like myself again. So, yeah.
The other running backs in the backfield didn't seem to have as much success as you. What were you seeing out there? Were holes opening up for you, or were you just so determined that you wouldn't really be denied on Saturday?
The offensive line did a really good job. Emory had a really good night on the ground too. And, you know, I think Corey ran really hard when he was in there for whatever reason. You know, some things just didn't work out for that. But Miami did a really good job of taking stuff away. Corey had 2 really big games coming in, so they were obviously keen on him and trying to take him away as much as they could. So that just opened opportunity for, you know, Emory to have the night we had.
Oklahoma had 15 tackles for loss in their most recent game. What kind of challenges does their defense present for you guys up front?
Yeah, so we got a really good Oklahoma team coming in here. They have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things, long, tall, but they're also physical. And, you know, our offensive line has just had a really good week. You know, we almost had over 500 total yards of offense. So we know those guys are very capable up front of handling their business. But at the same time, you know, like you said, Oklahoma's done a really good job with, you know, their schemes and just, you know, the guys they have of limiting the run and, you know, trying to get you in negative plays. So it's going to be a really big week of preparation for us, trying to figure out how we're going to handle that.
Emory Jones said Saturday night following the loss that he felt like you guys had 3 starting running backs there within that running back room.
Yeah.
Just talk about that running back room a little bit and what you've been able to see from all 3 guys.
Yeah, so I could even say we might have 4. You know, Ethan Wright's still coming back from, you know, things he has going on. And then Corey and Miles are obviously very talented. We've seen that, you know, throughout spring ball and camp, and then even obviously Corey these first 2 games. But it's really nice because everybody, you know, is happy for each other. And we're pushing each other every day. And, you know, Coach is getting every single one of us prepared like, you know, that role is going to happen.
Have you been in anybody's ear about, yeah, I'm pretty good at punt returning too.
Yeah, and I practice it every day. And, you know, I'm out there. I help Braden. Braden's very talented. You know, we work at it every single day. And, you know, me and everybody else has all the faith in him that he's going to get that going too.
Have unique perspective here, being from the area, being in this program now for several years, of what this moment means for this program. First Big 12 game, and you guys open with Oklahoma. Can you kind of wrap your mind around what this means for the program and you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're very excited. You know, like you said, me coming back for this 5th year, and, you know, being around, losing to Miami is a very stinging on this entire program and everybody in. So I'm trying to just, you know, take that role and be a leader and say, you know, we're 0-0 in conference play, and everything we want is right in front of us. We have a really good team coming in here, but we're really good too. And, you know, we're just going to take this week day by day and, you know, prepare and, you know that what we have here is good enough.
Obviously, the first loss under Coach Satterfield. What more have you learned about him, how he's been able to lead you guys after that tough night on Saturday?
You know, the first thing as soon as we got in the locker room, he was like, you know, it's on me. Don't point your fingers at each other, point your fingers at me. You know, that was really good to see, even though it wasn't just his fault. You know, we did a lot we didn't execute a lot in the red zone especially. But for him to take that accountability and, you know, let us know that it was on his shoulders and that, you know, conference play, we have everything, you know, right in front of us. It was good to see.
You've played in really big games, South Bend, playoff games, that kind of thing. You experienced that stuff before. Does this game feel on the level of some of the bigger games that you've played in here at UC?
Yeah, absolutely. Oklahoma's a very, very good team. You know, they're very multiple. They're coached very well, very disciplined. You know, and they have a really good defense. And, you know, just watching film over the past 2 days now, they're going to throw a lot at us. So it definitely does feel like one of those games. But at the same time, you know, that's what you look forward to. And so I think we'll be ready.
Ryan, you had offers, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, for this story to now come full circle and be on Fox in front of America. Is it rewarding?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I've been through a lot. Coming out of high school, I know I had all those offers, had the knee injury, and I lost a lot of those. So, you know, getting to this point and, you know, Cincinnati moving into the Big 12 and, you know, having the opportunity to play some of these, like, historic teams like Oklahoma, you know, is one of the blue bloods of college football. It's very rewarding and, you know, it's very exciting. I don't take it for granted.
Good. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you guys.